Okay, we're back. Another episode of Just Your Average Job with the infamous Leonarda Jonie. Say that right?
Yep, that's correct. I don't know that I'm infamous. I don't think anybody knows who I am. So,
hey, like I was saying earlier, you were the first comedy show I actually paid to go to was at Vulcan. It's one of Trevor's shows, and me and my buddy Tyler went, and we were sitting up in the front, and you roasted us so bad.
that sounds like me.
Yeah, you said I was the bottom. And
That also sounds like me. Call it just anytime I see two dudes in the audience, I just call them gay.
It's just us. Yeah.
Crowd loves it. The
I
comedians
laughed.
love it.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Tyler was a little upset. But
Why? He wanted to be the bottom?
I guess. Yeah. I was all ready for it. I like it, and I like shooting the shit with people that aren't sensitive and talking shit and roasting each other. I don't know why.
Well, it's a known that if you sit in the front of a comedy show, you're going to get roasted.
Yep.
That's a known. If you didn't know that, then now you know.
Well, it's crazy to me that people go to comedy shows and get mad. That's the thing that always baffles my mind.
Yeah.
They take the jokes serious, or when they're getting shit, they get mad. Can't tell you how many times, not even in a show, but in the backyard, Tony would just go in on me.
Oh, that's funny.
And he is brutal, and it's not fun to take.
Yeah. Well,
but it's all in good, I don't know. But if it's usually pretty funny if you got thick skin. So yeah, it's I've had a blast meeting and hanging out with the comics. I took a break from everyone to focus on work, but now that my social life's coming back, it's been, I remember running into you downtown, and I thought that girl was your friend, and she was out of her fucking mind.
She was not my friend. I was barking for my show.
Yeah.
I run a show on Saturday nights at the Sunset Strip called Shadow Band. And so beforehand, I'll go out and I'll bark and try to get people to come in.
Hustling.
And this girl and her two guys that she was with, who basically they just seem like typical white trash criminals.
6th Street regulars.
Was just she was kind of hitting on me, but she was also, I think she was bisexual, which I don't really believe exists. But she was like, yeah, you're an alpha woman me. And I was like, you're mentally ill.
Yeah, she was telling me, because I was trying to be like, hey, are you do you have a show tonight? I haven't seen you in forever. And she's like, you got to have more confidence when you talk. You got to establish dominance.
She established dominance on you. That's for sure.
What the fuck is this lady?
She looked like she had a strap on in the back of her truck and she was ready to, take it out.
I was so
And then
confused.
Her boyfriend looked like he dealt meth. And then the other one, I was like, and then they invited me to their house. And I was like, no, because I'll never make it out alive, and I'm definitely going to get raped. So I've never gone. Yeah.
I'm so glad she left. I was so relieved when you're like, I actually don't know them.
Yeah. I don't know.
I wish I would have known that before, because I was trying to be nice to them because I didn't know if they were your friends.
No. So. I'm very clear to let people know that I don't know people. Even if I know them. It's isn't this your brother? We just met.
See, and that's the personality and attitude I like, because you're originally from New York.
That is correct.
And
yes.
I love New York. I was just in New York, and in fact,
it's a communist hellscape now. So.
Well, the people, a lot of the culture that I've interacted with there don't necessarily follow that stigma that comes with it through the politics.
Yeah.
And you'll love this. The first time I ever went to New York was last year in January. And my first 20 minutes there, I'm on the subway. I'm texting my buddy that's from there. And we stop. I just left JFK. We stop. I'm on the subway. And this guy gets on. He sits right across from me. And he's just staring at me. And I'm texting my buddy. I'm like, yo, dude, this guy is just mean mugging me. And he's like, don't engage. Don't talk to him. They'll just leave you alone.
Yep.
And I go, all right. So we're going for a while. Dude does not flinch, doesn't move. He's just staring at me.
You got to act like you don't even know they're there.
Yeah. So we get to a stop and he stands up aggressive and he just starts rapping at me.
Sounds about right.
And he's like, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then he just gets off the train.
Yeah.
And
testing you. He was testing you.
Well, I'm sitting there I'm from Idaho. That shit doesn't. Yeah. And so he gets off and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm looking around. No one's reacting. No one cares. And I tap on this guy next to me.
Another day. That guy probably got mad at you.
Exactly what happened. I tap on him and I'm like, hey, did you see that? And he pulls his headphones out and I was like, did you see that? And he's like, what? I was like, that guy just started rapping at me. He's like, shut the fuck up. And then he put his headphone back in. Yeah.
That was a quintessential New York experience. You're welcome. The thing is, in New York, this is what people don't understand. Like, you have like no privacy physically, so everybody knows you have to give each other privacy by the way that you interact on the physical platform. So I have literally had mental breakdowns on the train and people are just like, just another day. Like, I'll be sobbing. Nobody pays attention. They're in their own world because they get it. They go, oh, she doesn't have a room in her apartment because rent is $7 million. So the place that she gets privacy is here on the train. So what we're going to all do is the way that we look with our eye contact, lack of eye contact, where we focus our gaze in New York gives the person their like personal space. Like Texas, you got your personal space. It's called space.
Yeah.
Like all the space. New York, it's like there's maybe like 100 people crammed into this car, right? Subway car, and everybody still gets their space. You do feel it. And when somebody crosses it or violates it, which is what that guy did, that's a real, like that's a faux pas, you know, and then you faux pas by tapping the guy on the shoulder with no information that benefited him at all.
Yeah. Well, so one of my closest friends from here, actually, he married his longtime girlfriend who's, so they now live up in Long Island. And I think it's how you say it's Patchogue. And
yeah, maybe. I'm not familiar with all the different Long Island territories.
They're amazing. I love them. It's a crazy like dynamic and family and stuff.
Long Island is very conservative.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's red.
But my buddy Mike is like super friendly, loves talking to people, loves engaging, just like all that. Could not be a worse place for him to be.
Yeah. No, he could do that on Long Island.
Well, in Long Island, yes. But when
he goes to New York City, just shut it down, buddy.
Yep. Yeah. It was, I mean, when I was there recently, this guy was screaming at the cops and being all crazy and then walked off. And if that happens in 6, we can just go talk to the cops about how that guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
He goes to talk to the cops there and they're like, take a hike, pal.
Yeah, they're like, look, we dealt with one crazy. Oh, are you going to be crazy? No, they don't want it. Yeah, they've got their own. They got their work cut out for them.
It's pretty fun to watch him out there because he's a big dude. And he used to come to the comedy shows with me all the time. So
and then he moved
up there because when he got married, she's like, I'm not going to Texas. Like her whole family's up there. So
sounds like your boy's a cop.
Well, it's a culture thing. And speaking of culture, so you're Albanian.
Yeah, I was hoping we weren't talking about that. But.
Well, the thing is I've always been interested because being from Idaho, we have no traditions. Like our tradition is that we have no traditions. We have no culture.
That's not entirely true.
Well, I mean, if you're from Idaho, well, I'm originally from Boise, Idaho.
Okay.
It's a little more of a city, but you have like our traditions is every weekend we get drunk and we go to a bar called Hannah's where the Rocky Johnson band's playing and it's Rocky, this lady that's been jamming there for like 30 years. And she'll go out and throw sex toys at you and you got to dodge them. And afterwards we'll go to like IHOP.
But you understand that that's because the American culture has been totally destroyed by globalist factions who don't want America to have an identity so that they can push in all the migrants from all over the world and go, this has always been who you were. And we're like, really? We don't shit on the street and we generally don't rape.
Yes.
And when we do rape, we go to jail. And they're like,
You're punished.
Well, that's about to change. And so, because America used to have some pretty strong traditions and culture and everything, and they weren't as...
what do you think that was? Like for people that...
Family. I think family was... They were a Christian nation, even if, a lot of people didn't... Of course, there's always people who don't believe, but they were a Christian nation. They celebrated the meaning of Christmas, which was about being with the people you loved. It wasn't about getting a TV at Walmart,
fighting on Black Friday.
Yeah, you had small town. You had a sort of character to these towns that has totally been washed out by big megalithic companies like, again, Walmart and CVS and these Target, these companies that don't have any foundation in the communities they set themselves up in. And then they wipe out the communities and what they actually did have as a culture. So now you got to go watch some, transvestite throw out dildos. And that wasn't American. That's not American culture.
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing too. Well, it's more of like a tradition out there. But it's
a tradition for how long? I doubt they were doing that in the 50s.
No, I don't think it's been around since the 50s. But no, I agree. Like we have lost as a society, you know, our tradition and cultures. Like, I don't even, this past Christmas, I just stayed here, but even recently, like all the holidays, I remember holidays feeling a lot more like holidays.
Well, because
like Thanksgiving
you had
Christmas.
culture. So people don't understand that a lot of American culture was imported British and German culture. Those were the original settlers and creators of what you know as American culture. And so they brought with them that strong sense of family, the celebration of their major holidays, the getting together in that way. So that was all imported, and it's all been pretty much destroyed because they like to say, oh, that means you're white and being white is bad, and they want to destroy it. So you're about to ask me about my culture, Albanian culture, and everything that I'm going to reflect back is going to be pretty much all the stuff that you guys used to have. It's about family. It's about celebrating things together. It's about food, the kind of food that you have, which is grounded in your culture. So those are the things. And
does your family still celebrate all that, or does it like teeter off?
No, totally. They totally do. But you know, you start to see it in the second, because the idea is if you're going to immigrate to America, which is, you know, a lot of people do, you need to assimilate.
Yeah.
And this is one of my things. It's like, don't come here and bring your culture. Your culture's the problem of why you left whatever shithole place you came from.
Well, do you
most of the time?
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of things about the country that I've like coming from a place like Idaho. One thing I've always had fun with is like embracing and trying out, like entertaining other cultures and like, you know, checking them out. Like it's cool for me to go and see I had an ex-girlfriend a couple years ago that was Mexican. We went to Mexico for Thanksgiving where her dad lives. Yeah. And it was crazy and like fun to try out the new stuff that they do in the games and the traditions and stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do think it is. I agree with you to the point though, where it's like, you know, there's certain aspects that you should leave behind. But as far as like remembering your heritage, I think is probably the best word.
Yeah. But then you know, that's something that it's such a unique problem to America, because we do have a lot of different influxes of different immigrant populations that came here for lots of reasons, right? And then you kind of find yourself in this predicament where you go, well, what the hell are we? Because you know, especially for me, like I'm first generation, so like I speak my native language and everything, but I'm not going to continue that. Like, well, I actually think American culture is superior. I do. Why? I think they have a good sense of like the equality of the sexes, which I think is extremely important. Any country that I see in which women aren't recognized the way they are here is poor. So, I mean, if you literally shackle one half of your population, you're going to be poor. You know, and a lot of that in my culture has to do with another imported culture that forced themselves on the Albanians, which was, you know, with the Ottoman Empire, which came in the 1400s, and they basically set up shop in Albania, and then they infused a lot of their horrible piece of shit values right into the culture, so that it became, now it's totally intertwined. You can't even separate them. And to me, that's like a great tragedy, because we weren't, I mean, you do have a lot of misogyny in like Albanian culture currently. If you go back to the Ottoman Empire, you didn't have that. You didn't have like this, you know, third wave feminism that we have here. It's just like, I'm going to not shave my bush and you're going to love it, or whatever the hell they're on now. But there was definitely more of a mutual respect, and there wasn't this real kind of violent rage towards them. Which I think was imported by a predominantly Muslim culture that does view women that way, and continues to this day, which, by the way, we're importing now into the Western world. Yeah,
that actually is a great segue into another topic I thought would be fun to discuss. Is dating culture is so crazy now. You know, I was telling these guys, I've had some insane interactions lately. And it's so hard to meet people, especially in Austin. It's like the dating scene out here is garbage. And like,
what about it is so bad?
Well,
I'm interested because I very sporadically dip into it.
So this is a city of entrepreneurs. So you have all these like over the top independent women that, you know,
Not the way to go if you want a man, ladies.
Yeah, it's the thing is
I've never talked to a guy who was like, you know what I really want in a woman? I want her to be an independent boss bitch. They could care less. I just got to say this to ladies. Yeah. Men could care less what you do for work. They don't care. The ones that care want to use you for your money. Get away.
Yeah. I mean,
women don't understand this.
No, it's the thing too is it's like you nailed it. We don't care.
You don't care unless you're a diabolical piece of shit who's looking for a free ride.
Yeah.
And like nobody likes those guys.
Well, I think the problem too is like men genuinely want to, you know, win over a woman when they first meet them, like, you know, pique their interest, things like that. And when you get someone that just throws their you know, feminism and in their strength and everything in your face. So you're
getting a lot of that.
Lots of it, yes.
Would you guys concur with that? You guys are guys. Are you guys in relationships?
Oh, no.
You're not in relationships. Would
No.
you concur with his experience of women, or you guys like dating Latino chicks and they don't do that?
They do.
I mean, I've dated him, but
he's from Mexico.
I'm from Mexico.
Yeah.
Well,
they're just like, how would I say it?
I put them on
they're
the
just
spot.
in their own
Yeah,
world.
they're
and
panicking.
I'm zoned out. So,
but you guys date chicks in Austin? Are they like this? I don't know.
I mean, they're just in their own world. You know, they're just in their own path. To be honest,
The girls in Austin are in their own path. What?
Yeah, so they just focus on their own thing. You know, they just want to make it themselves.
Okay.
Really it,
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but
I don't know what that means either. I have no clarification.
Yeah.
I don't know. Y'all caught me off guard.
Yeah.
that further made the
They're like,
topic
no,
confusing.
I can't talk about the girls I'm sleeping with because they'll stop sleeping with me. Don't you understand?
No, it's like you get. I think a lot of the times, like my experience, I've had girls that try to over impress, not realizing that it's actually a turnoff. You know, it's like I'm already here. Like you've already got me on a date, and I think a lot of it's like that. But
just have a nice ass.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need.
I always say I just want someone to have fun with. Like I'm not trying to like
Listen,
compare.
If
our,
she was a flat-assed chick, you don't care how fun she is. You're not into it.
That is also true.
It's just the way that men operate. The first thing they're drawn to is the physical aspect of a woman. We're not drawn like that at all. Like I was looking at magazines the other day and they had like hot dudes on the cover and me and my friend were both there and she goes, I'm just not into that. I'm like, yeah, because we don't know what his personality's like. But if he came over and tried to scam me, I'd be like, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah, the fuck boys always win.
No, but it's for women, we operate a little bit differently. We operate on it's not that looks don't matter, but they just don't matter as much. Like I have dated some ugly guys. Ugly guys.
Remember when I met you?
I didn't date you.
No, not me.
Oh, you took a picture. That guy was not ugly. That guy was a good-looking guy.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
You wanted to fuck him.
I wanted the freak pictures.
But I have dated some ugly dudes whose personality won me over until I found out they were narcissists, and then their personality did not win me
I think
over.
that's a big problem in today's world. I was telling these guys the last date I went on, I was hanging out, and I remember we sitting in my place, and she had to go to the bathroom, and she took my phone and went in there.
Whoa, that is a boundary violation.
Huge red flag, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing though, it's like her Uber had already arrived. Like that date was already on its way.
What made her think she could take your phone?
I know. So
That's insane to me.
It's insane to me. Yeah, it was, the whole interaction was insane. But she goes in the bathroom, and I'm like, did you take my phone? She wouldn't like talk or respond back. And then she comes out, and my phone's just sitting on there, and she's like, all right, my Uber's here. Like, I got to go. And I'm like, why did you take my phone? And she goes, I didn't. And I go,
oh, she blatantly lied. Yeah.
And I was like, it's right there. Like, I didn't take it. She's like, maybe you left it in there when we first got here. And I go, I had to answer the phone for the gate code when your Uber got here. Like, you were right in front of me. And she goes, oh, I don't think I took it. And I was like, you're
straight up lying, pathological liar.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're insane. And yeah, she left. She was,
You dodged a bullet there.
Yeah,
Good thing. They don't always reveal themselves so quickly.
Yeah. That was, never talked to her again. But
I think you're missing out.
I don't think you know what's crazier is when we were at the Domain having drinks, and she showed me on her contacts, and the first wave of her contacts were all the graveyard emojis. And she's like, do you know why I have that? And I go, no. She's like, these are all the people that are dead to me, that are just, I had the worst interactions with. I was like,
that's a red flag.
I was like,
It's
you're
you,
out
honey.
of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she had a nice ass.
Yeah,
Did she have a nice ass?
She did, though.
That's why she keeps doing this.
Yeah.
That's why she'll keep getting away with it.
Yeah.
She has a nice ass and a nice pair of titties. You guys don't even care that much about the face. I mean, you're like, you'll take it. It's a bonus, but you're not that. You look at that like third.
Yeah, it's like
know?
after a while, you just kind of phases itself out.
Yeah, but it won't keep you. You know that'll attract them, but it won't keep them.
Yeah, so. it's a short term thing. But you know, the other thing too that I get tired of hearing is there's like two terms that I can't fucking stand. Is when I meet someone and I feel like we're hitting it off at first, and then they're trying to match like the masculine side, and then they say two things that fucking drive me crazy. It's the term toxic masculinity or the mansplaining. I fucking lose it. Yeah, I'm like,
toxic,
okay.
Yeah, well, because they're just, reading BuzzFeed, and they're like, oh my God, this is what the new terms of the month are. I just downloaded the software. Are you a toxic masculine man? And are you mansplaining to me?
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I kind of like when men explain things to me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel nice. I'm like, oh, look, usually they're retarded. And I just let them have it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you think you know more about this subject that I've been teaching for 13 years. So cute. We're going to let you have that because it makes you feel good. Right. But I don't need to come in there and I don't know. I think a lot of it is, I get what you're saying. I don't experience that on that side. I don't really hang out with those kind of chicks. So I don't know them like that. Yeah. But I think a lot of it, what's the age range of girls you're dating?
Well, I'm 31. So I usually prefer anything. I mean, I'm not at this point.
But the girls that you're having these interactions with, what are they?
Yeah,
like
usually 25? Between like 25 to like my age, like 31, 32.
Yeah, so it's like they've went through the programming of college, right? They've downloaded all the feminist literature that has told them that they're oppressed in every possible way, which, by the way, you live in America, bitch. You're not fucking oppressed, okay? Yeah. Get over it. And then they're on like this venge quest that they don't even realize is not theirs. It's like something that they recruited into without their knowledge. And it's like, this is something I've seen too with a lot of this stuff online. There's like the Fresh and Fit podcast and the Whatever podcast.
Oh, the Whatever one's annoying.
Both of them are annoying because what it is basically two toxic men.
Yeah.
These guys are actually really fucking gross. Like, I find them absolutely repulsive as the quality of character they are. I wouldn't want to hang out with them in any capacity. And then they bring girls on that are deliberately below a certain level of IQ, and then it's like bringing a person with Down syndrome in and being like, here, solve this simple math equation. And then they can't, and they're like, what's the matter, are you dumb?
Yeah.
And that's literally what they're doing on these shows. And I'm like, you haven't proven anything except that you're a big bully. Why don't you bring some women who can actually hold their weight? Because you don't want to contend with that. You want to be Mr. And they say a lot of stuff which I think is really gross. And then I think a lot of girls will see that, and then they go, all the guys are like this, and then you guys are on the receiving end of something that you didn't even start. Most guys that I have met, most guys are actually pretty nice, and they're like want to be good guys. I just feel like most guys, now there's a small segment that really suck, but most guys have been totally kind of incapacitated by this culture that tells them that everything you do is wrong. Oh, you want to pay for dinner? You're infantilizing her. Oh, you want to hold the door open? You're saying she's weak. Oh, you don't want to hold the door open? It's because you don't value her. It's like you're damned.
You can't win. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I say to you guys is fucking man up, tell everybody to fuck off, decide the kind of guy you want to be, and there's going to be a girl who's going to value that. Like, if a guy holds a door open for me, I love it. If he pays for dinner, I love it.
Yeah. It's weird to have like the traditions I grew up with in a small town all of a sudden be the bad thing to do.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. And so I just, it's so funny you say that. I was talking to my best friend yesterday, and we were talking about, I'm just at a point now where I just don't give a shit about the validation of anyone, the public, people.
That's where you got to get to.
Yeah.
You just get to a place where you go, fuck off. Yeah. This is who I am. You don't like it. Goodbye. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Also, guys, don't waste your money taking these bitches out to dinner like right away. Because first of all, a lot of girls will just, which I don't understand, they'll just go to dinner even though they don't like you because they want you to spend your money. And I'm like, I've had people be like, I could take you to a fancy dinner. And I'm like, my time is worth more than whatever that dinner costs. Yeah. And if I have to sit across from someone who I can't vibe with, I can't tolerate it. I just feel like I need to get the fuck out of here. And there's
Yeah.
no dinner you could take me to that would make that feeling worth it.
Oh yeah, I remember like right after I split up with an ex a couple of years ago. I was trying to get back out there, and I went on this date, and this girl, she was wearing sunglasses the whole time.
Nice.
And
This is gonna go
She
well.
was on her phone, and I just felt like nothing I could do would like get her interest, and I could see the reflection in her thing, and she's on Bumble just swiping.
What did you do?
And I left.
Good.
I was like, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I just went to my car.
Good.
And the best part was she didn't text me for like 20 minutes. And then she was like, hey, where are you at? And I was like, I'm almost home.
Yeah, good.
And
No.
so,
That's the way you treat people like
Yeah.
that. If they're going to be disrespectful, you respect yourself and you leave.
yeah, I was watching Rogan's Pod the other day, and they were talking about sex robots coming soon.
Yeah.
That's
gonna
fuck
be
it
great.
up. Yeah,
That's gonna
that's
be
gonna
great.
only fix everything.
Yeah. Look how well vibrators have worked
Yeah.
out for ladies, you know. They can't come unless there's a power drill.
Yeah, well now there's that one too. Yeah, there's like the box. It just fucking beats you up, and
Jeez.
yeah, it's crazy. Like the dopamine like rush people are chasing constantly. Like they just can't.
Yeah.
and then
Well, it just goes back to what I was saying, where I feel like the underpinnings of our culture have been knocked out and people are lost. And I think you're a human being and you have enough to have to tackle in your life. You can't live outside of a system and have to handle all the things that the system used to handle. It's actually, I think, one of the reasons that a lot of people aren't having kids.
yeah, there's a short population.
You used to have kids within the context of a bigger family. So you'd have an aunt or your mom or a grandfather who would be like, yeah, I'll spend some time with the kids. So it wasn't all on your shoulders. And when it is all on your shoulders, it's quite a huge responsibility. Like, and that's what I really think is behind the shortage and also the propaganda that has been put into. You want to be free? Kill your baby.
Yeah.
It's like, who thought of this?
Yeah. Yeah, shit's so wild right now. It's like I talk to my dad every day, and I just don't like. I keep telling him, I'm like, stop watching mainstream media. I was like, shit's out of control, and they just kind of like graze over it. Like I don't think
It's just propaganda.
Yeah, well, I just don't think a lot of like our parents or that older generation really are understanding how fucking nuts things are right now.
I tried to tell my dad about the Jews, and he just wouldn't listen. He was like, Israel is our greatest ally.
Yeah.
I will send them a third of my retirement. I was like, oh God.
I don't even know what's going on with that. I
Don't even go into it. It's not worth it.
Well, I was
It's not.
still on the Ukraine-Russia thing, and then that happened.
Well-
and then I gave up on that when I found out the ghost of Kyiv wasn't real. Bummed me out.
Yeah, I know.
And-
Would have been a hero.
Dude, you guys know about that?
I would have dated the ghosts of Kyiv. but
Dude,
doesn't exist.
Stud. Yeah, it's just modern warfare footage is what I found out. You don't know what that is? So Ghost of Kyiv was like supposedly this retired like
Such a
pilot that was just like taking out
Russians.
Russia's entire like Air Force by himself.
It was a lie.
Huge lie. Yeah.
They basically wrote Ukrainian Rambo.
Yeah.
And they were like, and then everybody's like, this is.
I thought it was awesome. Found out it's complete bullshit.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. So I'm trying to think about what my experience has been like dating in Austin. I think for the most part, my experience, because I'm plugged into the comedy world all the time. So I'm not going to date any of those guys because they just don't have enough testosterone. It's just like, I can't deal with this. And then I'll have guys come up to me after a show and try to ask me out, but they're usually interested in me because they just saw me do a whole performance or whatever. And I'm like, that's like a stage character. That's not like who I am in my everyday life. I'm pretty, despite what you may see on this podcast, I'm pretty soft and like sensitive in real life. And the way I am in my intimate relationships is like the way I've been with guys. I'm actually quite like take the back seat and be like, hey, you lead.
Kind of like submissive in a sense.
Yeah. But what I usually find is the ones that want to dominate in that way, want to dominate in kind of like a sick way where they have like a pathological need for domination. And that's no good. That's usually narcissism, right? Or they're attracted to this very strong personality that they see me put out, and they're like, "Will you be my mother?" And it's like, that's disgusting. Like,
That's weird.
I do not want to fuck anybody who wants me to feed them.
Yeah.
It's like you're so I don't know. I haven't spent too much time in the dating world in Austin, but the guys that I've seen kind of split along those lines.
Yeah, Austin's an interesting place. It is tough to kind of find really anyone that's not soft and like you were saying, kind of that propaganda mindset.
Right.
It's just I meet people,
but just like grounded in their masculinity, and it's not a performance. It's not like they've been listening to Joe Rogan and they're like, now I take ice baths and I eat elk meat, and you're like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
You aren't real. It's like the girls who kind of like are all getting fucking ass injections, and I'm like, you're spending $10,000 to look like a Latina chick from the Bronx. Like, it's not for you, honey.
Yeah,
it's just not real.
All those I've never been a trend guy. In fact, I stray away from it if it's becoming a trend. Like I've still, I run in circles in this fitness community, but I've still never done an ice bath or one of those cold plunges.
Yeah.
And for a while, it just was like,
that's strange because you seem like you're built for it. You look like a
I
polar
hate the
bear.
cold. Yeah, I know, right?
Doesn't he look like he'd be totally fine in an ice bath? And you'd be like, it's warm.
Yeah, I look like Mr. Freeze.
It looks like you're built for that.
No, I hate the cold.
Oh,
And
wow.
So, yeah, I can't do it. No. But I haven't done it now. I don't even want to do it because everyone's doing it. And I don't know if that's kind of a douchey thing for me, but
yeah,
it's just the trend stuff.
Everybody's kind of doing it. Yeah.
Well, and then now it's like the fitness industry has slowly started to transition into this like energy. You got one of two things on it, and it's something I can't stand that I've seen and I've talked about on the fitness podcast. Is you got one side that's basically just porn, and then you got this other side.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
And then you got this other side that's basically like, who's the biggest victim? And
Oh, you really? I didn't see that. I haven't seen that.
Everyone's like overcoming trauma. It's pop
Oh
psychology.
my God! Yes, I've seen that. I was following this chick for a while who's had a really great story. She used to be really fat.
Who is it?
Terrible. Don't be fat as a lady. And then she got like really good shape. But every video she posts, she's crying. She's like, I'm remembering who I was, and I'm like, nobody cares.
Yeah,
like.
no. Not
Cut
gonna
it
watch
out.
this.
I don't want to watch you cry every 5 seconds. I remember her. She was fat. Okay, get over it.
Yeah, what's crazy is I had to deal with a girl once. So on the you're gonna hate this. I
love this. I love it.
I haven't told you guys this yet. This is a while back, but I had this girl wanted to be a shout out on the page, which is what we do. We give people a day of recognition. So I send her the stuff. She sends me her before picture, and she used to be massive, and then now she looks.
We're
she's
talking
thin.
like a whale.
Yeah,
We're talking like Lizzo status.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And
Was she as big as Lizzo? Bigger?
no, I think that's impossible to attain.
Okay.
And she, but she was pretty big, and then now she's like completely different human. Looks, amazing, thin, works out regular, and I said, wow, like you look amazing. What a great transformation. And I'm thinking
That's a compliment.
the standard's like, thank you, I've worked hard. No, she blows up, goes in on me.
Oh, God.
Like I've always been beautiful.
No,
Like,
you
don't
haven't,
know.
bitch.
I'm like,
You were fat. If you thought you were beautiful then, why'd you change?
yeah.
Why are we lying to ourselves? It's, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Then she blocked me. So
Nice.
she was
I'm
never
glad,
a shout out.
I'm glad
but
you didn't give her a shout out.
No.
She's clearly psycho.
Yeah, I don't do
But
that.
that's again, you can see people's downloaded programming, right?
was like-
Because clearly she didn't believe that. Clearly she wasn't happy. Kudos to her. She changed. It's a really difficult thing to change your relationship with food and your relationship with your body and really change that and make strides. She did that. She deserves to be acknowledged for that. And when you try, she wants to make you in the wrong. It sounds like she couldn't receive it. Number one. Number two, sounds like she has this fucking bullshit feminist shit running through that goes, women are valuable at any size. It's like, okay, then be any size then. You're happy at any size, be any size. Why won't you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're totally right. I just felt like I just stopped talking. I was like, anything I say, she's gonna just twist it on me. Like I'm gonna be the bad guy no matter what.
because you were a
so-
guy. Because you were a guy. And if a girl had
she
said
didn't
that,
know. That's the crazy
She didn't
part.
know?
No, because before I started the Fit podcast, no one knew who ran the page. I wanted to keep my face off it, just kind of make it a brand versus me. And I was just attacked anyways. I was like, all right. So she that just tells me she already just has a.
she's already,
She's a victim 24/7.
Already, yeah.
Doesn't matter who's talking to her, and so
that's trash, dude.
I don't care. Fuck them.
I would love that. I'd be like, yeah, I used to be a fat bitch.
Well,
not anymore.
Yeah. I told my buddy Dan about it, and he was a savage, and he was like, I'm gonna go mess with her, and then he did, and she was like, my dad works for the FBI. Like,
Sure,
fuck you.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
If your dad worked for the FBI, the first thing you do is you don't tell people that your dad works for the FBI.
Yeah, yeah. And he got blocked, but that dude was nuts. But yeah. So now
I like your buddy. He sounds cool.
he's dead. So
Still, how did he die?
he killed himself. Yeah.
He was based, man. He knew this world wasn't for
He
him.
did it the week before COVID shut down.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
That sucks. He was depressed
Well,
and nobody knew.
I'll tell you right now, if Dan was listening, he would want us to joke about it.
Yeah, I know. But what happened to him?
Well, Dan was also a 24/7 party animal. And this dude was taking protein scoops of kratom daily, loved uppers, any type, was on hardcore steroids all year long. And this is public knowledge, so it's not like I'm spilling tea. But yeah, then one day he just said, I'm out.
He had enough.
And actually, I've never told this publicly. It's kind of fucked up, but it's hilarious. He left a note.
He said it was all your fault?
No, it's no, he left a note in his car. And when I found out what it said, I couldn't stop laughing. But he basically wrote on the note, this is fucked up. I hope I don't get blocked for this. But he said on the note, well, it's time to go. I hope I don't shit all over myself.
That is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. His sister.
Sounds like he was really detached from himself.
Yeah.
Like write a note like that when you're about to kill yourself. I hope I don't, like, you're just really detached from reality, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, he lived on his own terms. Dan was a crazy man. It was
damn
wild. So, but he loved, like, if he could get a rise out of someone, he would go all in on that.
That's funny.
And so, and it would, what I learned from it was a way to, like, really, and it's something I adopted is, let's see how much I can press someone and it'll tell me who they are, and that'll decide if I want to continue to hang out with them or not.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had a pretty solid squad around us. Like
nice.
He would fuck with people to no ends, but then he would also become like a really good friend. So,
but
that's what I think you need. I think you need to be able to, like, screw with people like that.
Sure.
And it's a good way to phase out the weak ones that get mad about compliments.
You don't need those, when the government's coming down and the ATF's banging on your door and this person's getting sensitive because you were like, move your fat ass.
Yeah.
You're like, we need to kill some people right now.
Right. Yeah. What was funny was I'd kind of forgotten about a lot of the comedy scene. And then I saw that video you did, the blind date one.
Oh yeah, well, the one where I'm behind a curtain.
Oh my God, that was so funny. I remember sending it to my friends up in New York, my buddy's wife. The ones are all in Long Island, and I was like, "This is perfect." I was like, "If you ever wanted to know what Leonardo's like, this encapsulates."
That's
like,
pretty much me.
Yeah, because that dude, like, but that's the crazy thing is, like, the way that guy acted. Is he gay?
No, but he was just obnoxious. He was young. I didn't realize how young he was when I was behind the curtain.
That's the problem with a lot of, like, the upcoming generation is they're very feminine.
They are very feminine, and they need to be told you sound gay.
Yeah. That's the first thing she said to him. The guy, like, asked her a question.
Here's the deal. He was being extremely annoying. Number one, I hate all those dating things. I think they're so stupid and corny and cheesy. And there's always these girls who are like, "Oh my God, I will do this," and they just sound like airheads, and they make women look stupid. Okay, and they're usually doing it for somebody who's not worth it. So, and then nobody's being real. Everybody's being a program. Whether they're like a far left program about, like, people of color or non-binary. It's just like, you can't fucking take them seriously. Okay. And then the guys are obnoxious and they have the sense of entitlement. So he was doing that the whole way. I was candidate number 5. So they would go through all the 4 candidates first. And then by the time they got to me, you didn't know, but behind the curtain, I'm listening to him deal with these other women. I'm getting so fucking annoyed. And I'm also getting annoyed at how stupid the girls are being.
Yeah.
Because they're like, "I'll suck your dick, daddy." I'm like, does that sound like a daddy to you?
Yeah.
So
I'll show you guys the video later. It's off. Like, this dude's...
By the time they got to me, I was already frustrated. And so the first thing I said to him was like, "You sound gay, bro."
It's so funny.
And then he got butthurt in his feelings.
When he said something like, "I'll take you to the Bronx," or
I'll dick you down in the Bronx.
And I was like, you're not doing yourself any favors.
Nah.
Dude. Like, it just made it worse. You just proved her point. And
literally what happened. So it was fun. It was fun to do that with them.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I try to explain to a lot of people now is, social media is so saturated and censored that really the future of marketing as an independent is going to be collaborating.
Yeah.
And working with people that might either be established, have a lot of potential, things like that. And So those are necessary, but yeah, that was hard to watch. A lot of these fucking streamers are getting bold. I was watching a video before you got here. This dickhead Jack Doherty goes around just fucks with people, and then when they go to approach him, he's got some security guard. Have you seen this guy?
I haven't, but I've heard about these people getting their ass kicked.
Oh, this guy hasn't gotten his ass kicked yet, but he is very much deserving of one because he will go and like mess with someone. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about pranks. I love a good prank. Like my buddy Eric Konevsky, he likes to prank like fitness people. You'll love this. He'll go to expos and he'll go up to a guy and he'll be like, how tall are you or how much do you weigh? And they'll say like one guy was like, I'm 6'9", like 320, and he's all shredded and tall. And he'll pull out a scale and like a tape measure, and they won't even be close. And he'll be like, why are you lying? And that's a good prank. But
that's funny. That is funny.
But when you go up to someone that's just at work, or someone that's just enjoying like lunch or something, and you start being aggressive and like getting in their face, that's fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Like you can't just mess with someone enjoying their piece. And it's like, and then when the person
and not everybody wants to be on camera. Not everybody wants to be famous. Actually, I have a lot of respect for these people who don't want to be famous because it seems like everybody wants to be famous now and for no reason.
No reason.
I like the people who are just like, don't put me in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I have a family and I like that.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go back to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing too is I'm not a big fan of the man on the street interviews unless it's like in good taste. I feel like a lot of people now are just trying to get a rise out of someone for clicks.
Definitely are.
And, it's funny because that's something that I thought Gary was always actually pretty good at. And that kind of leads me into kind of off the wall subject. I had Gary and Uncle Laser on here on the first episode.
Did you disinfect the room after?
Of course. Yeah, I had to. But I brought you up because I was asking Laser if he'd performed in New York yet. And then I brought you up and Gary had said something. I was like, I'm going to have Leonardo on the show and ask her about this. He said that you don't believe in dinosaurs.
Yeah, dinosaurs are fake.
Why don't you believe in dinosaurs?
Why do you believe in them?
I don't know. Fossils, I was told when I was a kid. But fossils are kind of a good sign.
Yeah. Have you ever seen a complete dinosaur skeleton?
Not in person, but museums have them.
Yeah.
And I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No,
I'm
this is
very
good.
open-minded.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Here's what happens with those. Thank you. High
Cito
five
doesn't
right here.
believe in dinosaurs.
High five.
It's like I know that
They're not real.
Yeah, there's not enough percentage of skeletons.
There you go. Here's what they do. And I'm kind of being funny right now because I don't really know about whether dinosaurs are real or not, but it's fun to kind of take this position.
I don't know shit. That's why I like to hear.
Here's where I've come, the conclusion that I've come to. Everything is fake and gay.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs were fucking each other in the ass. So how did they reproduce?
I don't know.
Well, that's how they went extinct.
They went extinct because they all became homosexuals, and then they started becoming trans because that wasn't enough.
And God was like, "No, wipe the."
And then they wiped themselves out. God didn't have to do anything. But here's why I don't necessarily think the narrative is the way that they say it is. They will find one bone of something, and they'll go, "This was a Stegosaurus," and then they build a whole thing, and you go, "How'd you know that?"
Yeah.
How did you know? In what world? And then they'll be like, its skin color was. And here's when I started to detect bullshit. Lately, they've been like, we actually think dinosaurs might have had feathers. I was like, you can add whatever you want to your imaginary creature. It doesn't make it real.
Well, now it's burn bones, so we can't find all of them.
Now
it's
it's
smack that mic. Hear it? No, smack it. Give it a good one. Harder. Like it owes you money. All right, might work now.
Smack it like it's his ex-girlfriend's ass.
Yeah.
Now we burn bones.
Yeah, they said they could add feathers, so now they're bird bones hollow. We can't find the complete one. We can only find their skull.
Yeah, it's just, and then also a lot of our fossils come from the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian is just there to rewrite history and cover up a lot of stuff. The stuff that I believe was real is I think we had an ancient global civilization that was way more advanced than they're telling you. And I think they have covered it up. And I don't think it was actually as long ago as they pretend it was. Because if you go, this is one of those creepy things. If you go look, there have been these like World's Fairs around the world. So if you go look up the World's Fairs and you watch some of these videos, you're like, what the fuck was going on? So these World's Fairs would go all around the country in America, and I think England too. and they would host these huge symposiums where they supposedly built these structures within 2 weeks. Like, you go look at the pictures and they go, oh, you see this like mega glass house? We built that in 2 weeks. And then when the World's Fair is over, we had to destroy it and take it down so we can move to the next location where they don't rebuild the same structures. So what's the conspiracy theory behind that? Well, actually, what they decided to do was they went to specific locations where there was still evidence of this advanced ancient civilization that had a lot of these structures already in place. And they go, we're going to hold a World's Fair here. We're going to tell everybody that we built this. And they'll build they'll build some things, which are, you can clearly see that they just built it because it's like the 1800s and they don't have any technology, right next to something that clearly predates them. And they go, yeah, we built this whole thing. Come check it out. They lost money. They didn't make any money. They would charge tickets and they'd be like, look at all these babies in an incubator. They had all these incubator babies. Like, where the fuck did you get these babies from? And then after the hosted World's Fair would end, they would destroy anything that they could destroy. But there were buildings and structures that were still left that they couldn't destroy. And you can go look those up and you go, and this is all, they take all this evidence, the Smithsonian, and then they present it to you in a particular way, and they're covering up true history. And to me, dinosaurs, like, it's one of those things where it's like, could they have been real? Sure. But why do we all believe in them? Because we've been told. And then we go, but we don't actually even really understand the evidence behind them. And they go, well, the evidence is these bones that we found. And you go, well, that could have just been the bone of an elephant. And then you decided that it was the bone of a T-Rex and this thing and that thing, because they've never found a complete skeleton. So how the hell do they know what a complete skeleton of this thing looks like?
Yeah.
Would be very difficult. But they could be real. But I like saying that they're not real because it makes people really mad.
It is crazy to see when you challenge someone's like perception on life, how upset they get now.
They get so upset.
It is one of my favorite things to do to people. Just I'll even if I knew I lost the argument 5 minutes ago, I'll keep it going just to see how heated they'll get.
That's funny.
And
you like to provoke people.
I mean, if they're gonna be that upset over something like dinosaurs,
yeah,
they deserve it.
Well, what I usually find is it's people who have just accepted it without thinking about it, and then they're mad that you're making them think.
Yeah.
And I go, look, you might be right. Like, these guys might really know something that we don't know, but you don't even know why you believe that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that I just don't think about it, and I don't get into arguments about because it's not worth it. But it's like, when you really realize that we actually really don't know anything, we only know what we've been told, then you go, it's possible that everything we were told is bullshit, or there's a lot of bullshit intertwined with truth, which is actually probably what I think it is. And the more we just go with it and accept it, the more that we are detached from knowing the truth of who we really are and why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I never used to think like that until like recently, when they would start trying to, when it was really the highlight for me was when they started trying to redefine words like inflation and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then I started thinking, well, if they're doing that now,
they've always been doing it.
Yeah. Like, what's to stop them from doing that? And, hiding history and maneuvering things around. And so it kind of takes you down a dark rabbit hole of like,
yeah, that's why I like Norm Macdonald. He said the thing, it was so funny. I forgot, there was an interview with him and he's like, wow, it says right here that the good guys have always won. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
How convenient. And you're like, oh yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. And the stuff that's coming out now with so many of our officials, like the people that you see, I feel like the charade is starting to fall.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger and I was growing up, we believed all the lights and the glamour. Like, they put this person in front of you and they go, this person's really talented. And we'd be like, wow, they're really talented. And that's a really good actor, or that's a really good actress. And you ascribed certain almost magical qualities to them. Yeah. And now what's happening is you go, oh, she just sucked Harvey Weinstein's dick. That's why she's got that role. Yeah. And you go, oh, you go to the set and you go, this is all fucking fake. And it doesn't even look like this. And
it's been one of the hardest things for me, especially like not necessarily pertaining to the fitness industry, but with how fast Austin's grown and a lot of celebrities that move here. I've been very fortunate to go and I get to hang out and meet a lot of these people. But then when you get to hang out behind the scenes and you see a lot of the shady shit, and it not that it necessarily directs to them as a person, but it starts making you think like, man, maybe the celebrities I worship growing up are actually scum, like
pieces of shit.
Yeah,
That's correct.
And
who would sell their own mother for fame. A lot of them have.
And then the worst is when I would meet people that I admired growing up, and they're just the worst. And I'm like, oh, that's
horrible.
Don't meet your heroes.
Well, how about don't worship idols?
Yeah.
How about we just get back to like one of the same first principles, which was don't worship idols.
Yeah. Well, so with what I have and the whole fitness stuff, which is ironic because the whole purpose of this show is to get away from it. It was
you keep bringing it up.
I do, yeah. Well, I mean,
it's like you want people to know that you work out.
Yeah, no, I decompress stress, which is different from working out.
Okay,
yeah.
that sounds pretty gay, but okay.
It does. Yeah, no,
I don't work out. I decompress stress. How do you do that? I take a dick in the ass.
No, but the thing is one of the goals I have with it though is to reshift the focus back onto actual accolades versus materialism. Like I want to get back to admiring people for actually achieving something that's worth admiring versus, I get people primarily a lot of it's like these influencers, which I hate that word, but it is the most accurate description of them, that want to come in like collaborate or do a show. And I'll be like, well, okay, well, what do you do? And their immediate go-to is, I have this many followers on Instagram.
Yeah,
I'm like,
because that's our currency now.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not an achievement. But then the worst part is when I get discredited due to my lack of following. And I'm like, so you're telling me I've done all this stuff, which is worth noting, but because this person just takes pictures of their asshole, they're all of a sudden more credible than like,
I told you, ladies, just have a nice ass. Yeah. That's all anybody cares about.
And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm hoping.
Which is a whole psyop in of itself, right? Yeah. We're all worshiping the place where we shit. Like, I really want that.
It's funny you say that. I've thought the same thing. They got all these people eating ass, and I'm like,
never will.
Yeah, well, kudos to you guys. He's not. He's going to stay out of
Caesar's
it.
like
he's Latino, so he's like, hey, he's like, that I think is a psyop too. I think that all of a sudden one day we woke up and we're just supposed to eat ass. I never heard that growing up. Yeah. That wasn't a thing.
I remember
that wasn't one of the bases when I was in high school. It was kissing, tits, below the belt, and then sex. Yeah. That was it. Those were your four things.
You know what? I can remember the year that became a thing was 2014. I was playing college ball and all the dudes on my team.
I remember the first time somebody ate my ass. I was in college. I woke up and my roommate had taken my pants off.
Yeah, no, maybe. So, anyways, but the dudes on my team were all talking about it all the time.
It just spread like a virus.
Yeah, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I was like, "I'm not doing that shit." And they're like, "You're fucking lame, bro." And I'm like, "All right, at least."
No, I'm actually not retarded.
Yeah, yeah. And then one of the players got kicked off the team for saying one of the coaches did it. And
you don't.
Everyone stopped talking about it after that. But I do remember vividly them saying like, "Yo, dude, I ate my girl's ass," and this. And I'm like, that's fucked up.
That's the thing, right? That's how you know that it wasn't. They knew that it wasn't just because he needed to talk about it.
Yeah,
he needed to tell you about it. So
they were influenced. Yeah.
Yeah, so he listened. He heard it in a song. I'm gonna try it, and then I'm gonna be one of the guys, and I'm gonna tell all the guys about it because then I need to hear from other people that this is what you're supposed to be doing. Because it's like if you were really into that and that's what you like to do, then you don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Why do you need to talk about it?
Well, and that's just kind of the shit nowadays is people have to talk about everything. It's crazy the stuff like the
also private. Like keep some of this stuff secret. You know what I mean? You're gonna be like 85 one day, and your grandkids, if you're lucky, if you didn't abort them all, are gonna come out and they're gonna be like, "Grandma, is this true? Is it Grandpa ate your ass?" And you're like, "Honey, it wasn't just Grandpa. Oh, Granny was a slut back in the day."
And they'll be able to find the footage.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me how much public info people just reveal about themselves.
Well, this is why I think we're at the end.
Yeah.
I can't see where we're going from this point.
I mean, so that's actually a question I have is it's 2024. What do you think is going to happen this year?
I don't know. I'm literally expecting the world to end at any moment. I grew up with like the threat of the year 2000.
Oh, yeah.
So that's just been in my consciousness since I was a kid. And I'm just like every year over the year 2000, I'm like, we're doing great.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I want to hope that everything's going to be all right. I do see that there is a reaction among the youth against this sort of degeneracy, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Seen
a pendulum swing.
A lot of the youth are racist. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work there. They're misogynists. High five. Yeah. High five. The women are like, we shouldn't vote. I'm like, no, you shouldn't. You're dumb. We don't need. Also, nobody should vote. Actually, that's what I think. But
it doesn't matter. You don't even have to be alive to vote.
I just think the whole thing is a psyop. But there's a lot of this youth that's like reacting against this stuff. They're like, I'm super straight and let's kill the gays. And I'm kidding. But they're totally against it. They know everything's fake. You know, they don't listen to the news or watch it. Like it's like a split.
Yeah.
On the one hand, you've got like some part of Gen Z that's like on their like 300th pronoun and their 7th sex change. And everybody's like, what a fucking loser. And there's no kind of like almost no hope for them, although some of them will kind of come back. And then there's a whole other group that's like, yeah, they're calling those kids fags. Yeah. And they're like high-fiving each other and they're lifting weights.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, like we might make it, but it's going to be a fight. It's going to be I think we're going to be we are a cultural Cold War for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is I think a lot of the youth is waking up to the idea that this current, woke ideologies it's just not sustainable, because it's a no-win, scenario where you can bend the knee to someone and then they're just going to want more.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's about control and
tyrannical
privilege.
Control. That's correct.
And so prior to moving to Texas, I lived in Tacoma, Washington.
Okay, how was that?
Awful. I was there 10 months.
Is that super woke or something?
It was awful. Yeah. Okay. So it's.
I love Washington too. See, I love all these places that they've taken over and destroyed.
Yeah. Well, the scenery is incredible.
That's what I mean.
That's where it ends.
California, the scenery, amazing. Yeah.
And so, but the thing is I moved there. My older brother lived there, but I just moved there because I didn't want to be in Idaho. Now, prior to moving there, I didn't know anything about politics at all. I thought Obama was awesome. Dude's charisma, he talked, he just kind of had this like young swagger to him, and I thought
the same thing. They lied to us.
I was like,
never
this guy's
vote
cool.
for anybody black.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, and so I didn't really care, and I just thought he was cool. But then what happened, what changed my mind was moved to Tacoma, and I started to experience all these like lib policies, and it was fucking my life up. I got fired from a job because they raised the minimum wage. They taxed everything, so my paychecks that would come in were depleted.
Yeah.
Everyone was so aggressive and entitled that me and my older brother, I remember we were at a restaurant talking, and some lady started chiming in on our conversation because she disagreed with it.
Lack of boundaries.
Different table.
Yeah.
And it just, you can never win. And then I was like, this is awful. And that was right during the Trump-Hillary election. So shit was heating up. And then that's not why I moved to Texas. It was spontaneous, but it was kind of like I got lucky coming out here.
Yeah.
But it was just, I got to experience it, and I saw that it wasn't sustainable and that it was shitty. And so that's what I try to tell people. I was like, if you really agree with all that, go to these places, go to California, go to Oregon, Washington, or New York. But it seems like New York's starting to like push back against that.
There's a subset that's pushing back, because you got to remember New York City's blue, but all of New York is red, dude, and they fucking hate. And also, I think there's a lot of corruption in New York. I don't think New York City is as blue as they say it is.
Yeah.
I think they routinely, commit voter fraud there and make sure that everything comes out Democrat.
Whenever I'm there, I never feel like I'm in like a liberal city.
Yeah.
Everyone there is very...
Well, here's the thing. It's a very independent city. Yeah. It's a very individual city. Mm-hmm. So you don't... I mean, everybody ends up binding around being Democrats just because that's been beaten into their brains. But a lot of them have just been so disillusioned by it that they're just... If you're a real New Yorker, you're like, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do. Yeah. That's what New York's really like. It's like, vote, fuck you. I'm still going to not pay for the train. Bye.
Yeah, I just jump over that shit now.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're looking for you.
I'm white, so.
That is a liability in that city. Okay.
No, it's it really is like one of my favorite places to visit. It just sucks that the policies have kind of massacred that place.
I agree, because it's got some of the best architecture in the country is in New York, you know.
I've never seen any. Have you been out there? Dude, I've never seen anything like it. I remember the first time I went there, because when you get into the city, you go under the tunnels from JFK. And then I got the first time I was there, one of my old college roommates lived in the financial district.
Yeah.
And so I got off, walked up the thing, and I just was like, I've never seen so many buildings so tall.
Right on top of each other. But my favorite thing was like the old structures. And you go into the West Village, and you go to Harlem, you go to the Upper West Side, you go to these places that are old, and you feel it, and there's like a spirit and a culture.
Yeah.
The financial district, I think that's where the devil lives. It's just cold, and just like you just feel like a depression come over you when you're there.
I didn't know what to expect. It was my first time, but then what happened was we went all over the place, and then I went up to Patchogue for a wedding up in Long Island, and then I spent the last day down there. But then recently I was in, I did go to the Bronx my last day there, but prior to that, I was at it's like the New York Fit Expo my buddy Kenny owns, and I want to say it was in, God, where was it? It was super close to the pier with like the big ships and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was way more culture over there.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
And so, yeah, I had a blast. Were you doing comedy prior to moving to Texas?
Yeah, that's where I started doing comedy. I was one of those people who never wanted to do stand up.
Yeah.
And everybody would be like, "You're funny," and I'd be like, "Get lost." And then I started writing, and then I wanted to write this very serious screenplay, but instead what came out was like really funny vignettes of like scenes in different settings. And so I was like, I guess I have something funny to say. So I wrote that, and then it had been at that point, I think I'd heard it for like 6 years consistently. Do you do stand up? You should do stand up. You're really funny. Do you do stand up? And I was just like, I guess I'm finally going to fucking try it, you know? And the person I was dating with at the time was very supportive and went and like pushed me to go do it. And I needed that because I wouldn't have gone, because I thought the whole thing was so lonely, because it is.
Yeah.
You know? And I did it, and I was like, oh, I'm funny. I guess these people were right. And then I just kept doing it. And then I was not writing some of the stuff that I really wanted to write because everything had gotten so woke. This was like 2019. It had been peak wokeness at that point. And I really wanted to make fun of the transgenders because I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. And I knew that if I did, I was going to make people really mad at me. And then I had this thought that was like, if I don't make fun of the transgenders, I'm not doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
It's me or the trans bitch. And I wrote it, and I did make people mad, and I just kept going.
Just lean into it.
Well, it's very scary to do that. It's like, especially when I could do that here. There's like there's a different culture here. There's say it, go. We want it. There it was, we'll kill you.
Yeah. Well, cancel culture is terrifying.
Well, I mean,
it's not as powerful now.
Here was one of the most ridiculous interactions I had, because it wasn't just cancel culture. It's individual person-to-person reactions. And this was one of the most absolute, this is when I was like, I'm in retard land. I was walking down the street, and there was a Nigerian immigrant. That's what he was, not making it up. And, you know, you get catcalled all the time. But he said something to me that was really fucking rude and gross. And there's sometimes, like, I was used to it. I've gotten catcalled all the time. Sometimes I have turned around and been like, why are you doing that? Like, I'm a human being. I'm trying to get to work. I don't want to deal with you right now. Which is not the smartest way to approach them, because it's New York City and people are crazy. So this guy said something. I actually forgot what it was, but it was lewd and it was disgusting. So my friend comes, and she's one of these woke Afro punk, you know, people of color are all special people. And she was getting more and more radicalized in that school thinking. And I was really happy to see her. I liked her. And I go, can't believe it. This guy just said, and I said what he said to me. Let's say he said nice ass or lady.
Something shitty.
And I go, yeah, he goes, nice ass lady. And I did his accent. And she goes, oh, no, you didn't just do that. And I go, do what? She goes, I didn't even know, because I was just actually recreating his voice, what he said. She goes, you can't do an African accent. That's racist. And I go, he just sexually harassed me on the street. And you're worried about me recreating his accent? Fuck his accent. And I literally did that. And I was like, I'm going to fucking do the accent. Oh, look at me. I am from Africa. And I want to come here and assault the white women. And I went nuts. I lost it. I was like, I've had enough. I've had enough of this bullshit. And she was like, I wasn't backing down and she wasn't backing down. Because normally people would do this and I'd be like, okay, whatever. Because I knew they were retarded. And I was like, I'm just going to say the N word when you're not here. So that's fine. But this time I was like, I'm going to fucking say the accent. You're wrong. You should have my back that I've just been sexually assaulted on the street, basically, and I'm actually saying it was fucked up and it violated my sense of security, and instead you're worried about whether what I did was racist. Go fuck yourself. And I went off and then I went and was having dinner with her and her friends who were these, by the way, they were also like Afro punk, like we're going to fight for rights. And they're telling me how horrible America is. One of them was an immigrant from Canada. The other was an immigrant from Germany. And then the other one was an immigrant from Ethiopia. And they're telling me how bad America is. I go, why don't you just go back to where you're from if it's so bad here? And they go, oh, well, we make a lot more money here. And I go, how about you shut up then?
Yeah.
How about you shut your pie hole and don't talk about how horrible it is, because you don't have to be here.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You don't have to be here.
What's his name? Charlie Kirk says it, where this country's so great that even the people that absolutely detest it refuse to leave.
Thank you.
So.
That's the thing. That's when you know you're dealing with a sort of narcissistic victim mentality. It's like, if you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, what they love to do is tell you what a horrible person you are. They love to project all their horrendousness and say, you're this piece of shit, blah, 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 blah. And then when you try to leave them, they go, "Where? You can't leave me." And you go, "But you just said I'm a horrible piece of shit. Why would you want to be with me?" Yeah. And that's what we're experiencing. Yeah,
the best way to deal with a narcissist is to just not engage. They go crazy.
Oh yeah, they absolutely go crazy. But that's one of the things you're seeing with these people is they're coming here. They've chosen to come here because they've obviously seen that life is better here. And then when they get here, they go, "Wow, this country sucks." I go, "Hey, the door's open. It works both ways.
Yeah, you don't have to be here.
You don't have to be here."
So, yeah, it's I especially moving to Texas, I've found that I genuinely have like an appreciation for the country and the state, and a lot of the people here, like you said, are that silent majority isn't really so silent anymore.
No, they've had enough of being silent,
and a lot of people are starting to push back, and we're not really worried about the repercussions anymore.
No, the worst thing you could call somebody in the mid 2000s was a racist.
Yeah, and
now you call somebody a racist, like, thank you.
Yeah, well, at this point, it just means you disagree with them. Like,
well,
you're not even racist. You're just
but people don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They go, I don't care. Because what you've done is you've used these accusations to badger me into a cowering position where I apologize for my existence. Mm-hmm. Now that I see through that, I don't care. Use them. I'll use them myself. I will describe myself as a hateful bitch. Yeah. It's not going to do anything to me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shut up. And that's then they fucking explode, you know?
Yeah, they don't know what to do because they have no power over you.
That's it, because these things were used to have power over you. Mm-hmm. Like the other day, I was watching this comedy show, and this woman was up, and she was doing her material, and she was like one of these woke, lefty, liberal bullshit.
Never works.
And she was doing a bit on abortion, and it wasn't hitting because it wasn't funny. And she goes, well, I guess you guys don't support women's rights. She went right into attack that somebody couldn't defend themselves against. And I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, first of all, that's not what it is. It's you're not funny, you fat bitch. And then second of all, I was like, since when is it women's rights to kill something? That's not your right. Sorry, honey. We all know the way sex works. If you don't want to get pregnant, you can still have sex. Just use the precautions to not get pregnant.
Yeah, but
what it was. Thank you. Yeah. Have him eat your ass and fuck you in it later. Yeah. You don't have to. They're pretending that this thing has just been, thrust on them, and they had no idea. And it's like, you got to bear the consequences of your actions. You don't get to take that out on someone else because you don't like that. That's the natural result of what happens. And I'm not even, saying like there's no circumstances under which abortion is acceptable, because that's also a Looney Tunes position.
Yeah, I think Trump probably had the best take on it, where he said it was acceptable if it was incest, rape, or affected the health of the mother.
Yeah.
And that was like his, I think he was like meeting in the middle. But, you know.
That's not even the middle for them anymore. They're
no,
like,
well,
what do you mean I can't kill it at 7 months?
Yeah, that shit's bad. That's bad shit.
But that's what they're
me.
talking.
Like,
they want to have an abortion up until the day of birth.
Yeah, or even after now. It's just such a bizarre take that.
Well, that's when you go, this is a brainwashed culture.
Well, that's kind of where I was saying where it's never enough. Like you know, you start with like 4 weeks from determination of pregnancy, and then it's like 8 weeks, and then it's like when it's 2 years old, I'm just tired and I need to sleep. You know,
yeah.
You never can win.
What mother in any other species do you know who feels that she needs to kill her offspring?
Well, animals do it.
Very infrequently.
Yeah, they'll. What is it? Those there's like birds and shit that'll just push them out of the nest. This one's
well,
and then there's like
mountain
lions that just leave them. They're like, you're slowing us down. But
different. They've realized they don't want a retarded mountain lion. They're like, we can't.
Never seen a mountain lion with Down syndrome. So
what does that tell you?
Leave it in the woods.
Leave it in the woods.
like any creature.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I've seen it be the case. I was watching this Nat Geo video where there was a mother tiger and she had her baby cubs, and one of the cubs got injured, and the mother's absolute agony over having to decide to leave because the cub wasn't going to make it, and the cub crying, of course, and you could see that the mother tiger was heartbroken of it. This is a fucking tiger.
Yeah. Watching National Geographic is an eye-opener when you see a lot of how close similarities between us and them are.
Yeah, I think animals are incredible.
Yeah, especially when you take mushrooms and watch National Geographic. You're like, that's me. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
I also think it's really incredible how there's this almost universal submission of animals to humans.
Yeah,
like, there's like it's almost eerie in a way, because you're like, this is an animal and it should just but they don't. There's like there's almost an acknowledgement.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is like kind of what you said is like this universal acknowledgement or similarity of communication. Like they all have similar approaches to emotions, and
yes,
it's really crazy to watch. Even like fish. Like big whales and stuff, like when they show compassion, or dolphins, and
well, I was specifically talking about the way that they have an almost kind of respect for humanity. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, and to me, it's been really eye opening because one of we're not very well versed in Christian mythology. We just know the big stuff. Jesus came, he died for our sins, and he doesn't like gays. And that's it. That's what we're supposed to know. But if you look at the real Christian mythology, says that before the fall, God placed Adam and Eve in charge of his creation, and he made it so that even the animals recognized their superiority, because we were meant to reflect the divinity of God, right? And so you can see remnants of that even in our fallen world. I mean, like a tiger's going to eat you, okay? A shark's going to eat you, whatever. But not all the time. Yeah. And to me, if there's even one time that it doesn't happen, it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then you see sort of kind of coming through almost like there's been this like thick pane glass between us and the truth, and it's sort of permeating where you go like, why does my cat fucking love me? Why does he want to be around me? I get it because I feed him, but that's not always the explanation, And you'll even see it with like wild animals where they, like elephants, will just wreck. They think humans are adorable.
Or like the coyotes that protected that baby that was abandoned.
I mean, this is the stuff that you go, God, that's like the infusion of like mysticism in our world that I think we're missing and we're hungry for. We've been robbed of a mythology that actually makes our lives meaningful. And then we approach everything like it's just not, it's not special, and so we're like shaking our asses on TikTok, wondering why we're depressed. But if you look at this stuff and then you kind of see the remnants of it in the world, you go, wow, that's kind of phenomenal. And what if it's true? And what if we're supposed to be way more than what we've been told that we are? And it just makes life, I think, so much more interesting.
Yeah, I've always been intrigued by the idea of like like a what is it, like another Earth, like what is it with the core, like you go
Hollow Earth.
The Hollow Earth.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with what I was talking about.
Well, I guess.
I mean, I had like a beautiful speech here about
it was pretty beautiful.
how life is
Animals.
meaningful, and you're like, so is the Earth flat or
it
hollow?
reminded me. You want to know where my brain went towards the end of that?
No.
I started thinking of Godzilla versus King Kong and the Hollow Earth and all the animals. I don't know why.
I mean, this guy.
My head went there for some reason.
This guy.
Well, ADHD, man. It's
they make medication for that.
Yeah, but it's depressing.
Is it depressing? It makes people depressed, the medication?
I think a lot of those medications like make people robots. Like it
depends. I think it depends.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It completely what I've seen with a lot of my friends and stuff is I've seen them go from this dorky, quirky, happy individual to just emotionless.
Specifically with ADHD medication, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
okay.
just a lot of that stuff. And then and then what happens is, and by the way, this isn't for everybody, but then I see them kind of pattern off to where, because they're so emotionless, like natural human instinct is to get back to their original roots. So then they go into other things like drugs, like harder drugs, and trying to just chase that
feeling of something. Yeah, that sucks.
So yeah, it is what it is.
All right, are we wrapping up? I got to go to the bathroom. Can I go
have to piss so bad right now.
Can I go first and then I'll come back? Are we done? Do we have to say something?
No, we can. I got a couple. I have another question for you.
Okay, cool. Let's pause it.
But yeah, my bladder's exploding.
Yeah, all right.
That was like one of the most aggressive pisses I've ever taken. Like my stomach hurt so bad, I could feel it pushing through the skin.
Well, that's more information than we needed, but
dude, I was in pain waiting. Like that was a lot.
We saw you. It was the protein water. You had the protein water.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I feel
this isn't going to be the one to do it.
I feel 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
I was in quite a bit of pain.
Well, Socrates always said, pleasure and pain are two sides of the same coin. And then they killed him. So,
yeah.
Maybe don't get too wise there, old man.
Yeah, hope not. Kind of wrapping things up with the comedy scene. What do you have coming up? I know you got Shadow Band, and is that every Saturday?
It's every other Saturday.
Every other Saturday.
So it'll be this Saturday, January 13th, and then the next one is January 27th, and it's at 11 p.m. And if you go to my Instagram page or Twitter or anything, so it's Leonarda.Jonie on Instagram. That's Jonie. I have all the links there. So I run that show. It's my show. I book it. I have like really fun, outlandish comics come on, and I'm hosting, so I'm there the whole night, and you get to hear my crazy stories and stuff. And then I pretty much perform all over Austin, but I'm going to be hitting the road a little bit. I had a couple of comedians reach out to me. I've got to feature for Sam Tripoli and Eddie Bravo when they were here, and they asked me to come to Dallas, which was cool. And then we're trying to work out some more stuff because I really enjoyed their crowd and they really liked me, so that was fun.
That's good.
And then there's another comedian I might be going on the road with, so we're just waiting on that because I do want to kind of hit the town a bit.
Do you have any places specifically you want to go?
Yeah, I want to go to Washington just because
Is there a good comedy scene out there?
There's a couple of comedy clubs.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't think the scene is very good, but it'll be fun to be like, this is what comedy is, you woke bitches.
Oh man, you'll get.
Yeah. Well, I actually heard Portland is really great for comedy, and
really,
yeah, like for the clubs because they're hungry for it. You know, these people they're having to step over homeless shit every day. It's like they know what it is. People who live there know what it is. You know. And the comedians there don't speak for them.
Where are the weirdest places you've done stand-up?
Some weird fucking towns in Texas. Like,
have you done like any weird venues? I only asked because I saw a video the other day of Theo Von when he very first got started doing it at an old folks home.
That is pretty weird.
Yeah.
What are some? I gotta think. I'm gonna rack my brain for where the weirdest places. I mean, the weirdest places are like an outdoor, like barbecue pit or something, and like half the people don't care, or there's kids around. I'm like,
oof.
You guys, this is on you. This is on you. I did one in a like it wasn't a retirement community. It was like a community. They had a pool and they had kids, and they brought the kids into the comedy show. And I go, stand-up comedy isn't for children. Like,
no,
don't bring them.
Yeah.
And I said to the parents, I was like, I'm not changing my act because I didn't know there was going to be kids here and I don't have kid appropriate jokes. So if you want, you could take them out now. And they didn't. And at the end, they actually came up to me with their kids and goes, she loved you. I was like,
it's my idol.
I'm like, yeah, you ever getting railed from behind and you look behind you and you go, that's Gollum. And she's like, yeah, she loved Harry Potter. I go, that's not what I'm saying. So
don't bring your kids to comedy shows.
Don't bring your kids to my show, for sure.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, kind of in conclusion, it has been a ton of fun watching where you guys started to where you're at now.
Yeah.
You know, I do remember when everyone first got here. It was such a refreshing thing for the city, especially since they started ruining all the fun stuff with like Rainy Street and all that. But it's one thing.
What do you mean they started ruining? What happened with Rainy Street? I don't know because I wasn't.
When did you move here?
2021.
Okay, so I moved here in 2017, and Rainy Street was like the perfect chill Sunday fun day spot. It was a bunch of old houses converted into bars, and then they had a couple like theme bars. One was like Container Bar built out of old shipping containers.
Yeah.
It was just such a fun, like not small town, but just like kind of a fun vibe, right?
Yeah.
It was like a nice break from 6th Street, all 3 sections of it, or like the Domain. It was just like a cool spot to go.
Yeah.
And now it's gone. It's all like massive towers and like suites and stuff. There's only like 3 or 4 bars left.
Yeah, well, it just seems excessive to me. It seems like it's always super busy. It's loud. I cannot handle it. When I came down here, it was my least favorite place. I was like, hell is Rainy Street.
Rainy Street? Yeah. It's like hit or miss, honestly, because I've had some amazing times there, and then I've had like times where I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Recently, I have enjoyed going to East 6 a lot lately.
Okay.
Just to get out, go watch the bands. You know, I love watching Bobby and the Nether Hour Boys. They're fun to hang out with.
Now, East 6th is
past 35 on 6th Street.
That's what I
it's
thought.
just all those like dive bars or grungy spots. Away from all the chaos that is Dirty 6.
Right. Okay. Yeah, where all the comedy is.
Yeah.
That's where all the comedy is. And I literally am like, I would not be here if I didn't have, I would not, if I didn't work in this industry, I would not be here.
Yeah. I mean, it's from when you guys first, like the whole comedy scene got here to where it's at now, it's drastically gotten more popular. Yeah. It's because I remember going, you know, like I was saying before when I first met Trevor and like all those guys, I remember specifically with you, I went to this place called, I think it was the Green Jay.
Yes.
And there was like 5 of us in there. And it was
a fun spot.
You got this fucking awesome argument with a friend of mine that was there.
Oh,
and
did I?
You would not back down. And I was like, this isn't going to, like, no one's going to win this. You guys are wasting breath. And you just wouldn't stop.
I forgot. I remember,
it's a long time ago.
I remember I would probably do that because I was done. At that point, I was done backing down from people.
Yeah. Well, my friend was like, you guys immediately went into politics. And she was saying that Trump was a racist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would have went
And you were like, nope. And you went in on her with like, this is why not. And she didn't have an argument. So she just kept saying no. And I was like, I was sitting with, what's his name? Brett. I think his last name's Smith. Is it Brett Smith?
Maybe.
He was regular for a while. I don't think he lives here anymore. But yeah, you guys were fighting and we were looking at each other and I was like, this is the most pointless shit in the world.
Yeah, because I was done with people just saying blanket statements that they had no evidence for. And I was like,
kind of on your side.
Yeah, here's the facts. Yeah, I was like, that you're just saying that because you've been told that. But did you read anything? Did you look into it?
No, it's TikTok brain. They're just repeating shit that they're being told.
Yep.
And so
I was done with it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That's kind of been my
I'm a little
mantra.
calmer now, but I will make people defend their point. Like when you're like, I believe in dinosaurs. I'm like, why?
Yeah, no, I like hearing them. I like hearing people out. Like I'm not really, married to any ideologies. Like I've been proven wrong so many times in my life where I'm like, who fucking knows what?
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible that they did exist. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, we don't actually know because a lot of the stuff that they advance and they keep rewriting the narratives. It's like, are you guys just making this shit up?
Well, it's like Miami, like, I don't know what happened out there. Just was it last weekend?
Oh yeah.
People are saying it's UFOs or people were throwing fireworks, but it's like this mass. Did you see this? No. Like hundreds of cops were in Miami, and they all
out of
responded
nowhere.
to this
And
mall.
there was a blackout too. They blacked out. They blacked out. They shut down the power grid.
So now people are saying that there was like aliens that like portaled into this mall and like
Right, but then to me, it's like, what does everybody have on them all the time?
yeah, that's the
cell
shit.
phone.
That's what I was
So
saying.
where's the footage?
Yeah, because I really want to see it. And
Where's the footage? Like, and you could live stream that before anybody knew what was happening. Somebody would have taken their phone out and fucking live streamed it.
people
because
are always on their phones.
Yeah,
so.
there's no way. So I don't think it was.
I don't think it was aliens.
I don't think it was.
I've
Aliens.
still not sold on aliens yet.
They're demons.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're demons.
Yeah, my gut is that until that shit happens, I don't care. Until I'm attacked by one.
Yeah. Well, they're demons.
Yeah, demons. Fuck them. Well, I guess in conclusion, we'll wrap it up. So, you have a show this Saturday?
I do have a show this Saturday.
Fellas want to go?
I'm down.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, if you guys want to come.
Shadow Band.
Yeah.
Do you know the lineup yet, or do you keep it
I
secret?
do. Yeah, I have a good lineup. I actually am going to have Rick Diaz on there from.
Oh fuck yeah!
He's from.
Oh yeah,
Kill Tony.
I saw you at Kill Tony's New Year's thing. I just think
Yeah.
it, like I
I
rushed
always
me
get
in.
people always send me messages. They're like, "I saw you, but I was like afraid to talk to you." And I don't think that was you, but
no, yeah.
I'm like, just come up and say hi.
No, I was already going through the entrance when I turned back, and then the lady had said, "All right, all the comics signing up, come over here." And then I saw you walk, and
Yeah.
I was already gone in. But
Now, I got some good people. I've got Rick Diaz. I've got this comedian Ari Mati. He's famous in Estonia, which means nobody knows who he is.
Yeah.
But he's funny. And Jamar Neighbors is going to be on there.
Jamar's cool,
So
yeah.
Jamar's pretty funny. It's going to be a fun show.
that's actually a good lineup.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, we'll come out.
Yeah, if you guys want to come through.
Cool.
You never know
Perfect.
who drops in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Joe Rogan won't, but
You've done Mothership yet?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm not in there, but I do get to go up often enough that
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, I'll talk to you off air about some of the cool stuff coming up. But well, other than that, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
I know
thanks for
I'm
having
still
me.
getting my feet wet in this world. I can talk other shit all day long, but this is more my thing. So on that note, Johnny, wrap us up.